Hello friends, welcome to another session of Emotional Café. Like every week, Xiomara Mayo Ingram here with another interesting topic, another issue that is somehow affecting us all, and I come and share these sessions with you to help you continue with your emotional growth as much as I am and many others that are along this way. We are all together on this, and I want to be able to continue helping you grow. This month's general topic, the main theme, is happiness. And the topic for today's session is coping with stress. There's no way we can talk about happiness when there's a stress in our lives affecting us negatively. And sometimes we don't even realize that there's a lot of stress in our lives. So I wanted to bring this session to actually help you identify not only the way that stress might be affecting you, but also how to cope with it. If we define stress, there are many different definitions, but some people define stress that as the way that our body responds to any kind of demand or threat. Others say that stress is a simple reaction to whatever stimulus we have that make us feel some sort of disturbed or upset or discomfort. Also, it can result from any situation that make us feel nervous or afraid or furious. I can say that to me, stress is that specific issue affecting us sometimes in a very unconscious way that is not letting us enjoy our life at its fullest. Why? Because we're not realizing that we're living under tension, and that is extremely important that we get to realize it and get to identify it, especially what is causing us that stress. So some important considerations that I have to share with you is that stress is in many cases some aspect of our life. It can be something that is there. It can be something normal, and it's totally normal to be stressed in certain situations. But when do we know it's normal? When the stress disappears, when it goes away without major inconveniences. Now, at the same time, we have to admit that stress can turn into our worst enemy, because if it stays and continues to be present in our life, somehow it's going to start taking the quality of life that we have. It's going to start affecting us. It's going to start affecting the way we feel about life, about work, about our family, about everything. And that's when the danger starts. We need to know also that we all feel and respond and show stress in different ways. So sometimes you see someone that is really stressful and you go like, no, I'm not stressed because I'm not feeling or acting like this other person. It doesn't matter. Again, we all show stress in a different way. We all respond to stress and we feel stress in different ways. When stress becomes overwhelming, it can damage our mood, our relationships, it can damage our peace and the way that we interact with others. And one of the main problems that we're finding now in modern society is that it's so full of frustration and deadlines and demands that many of us don't realize what is causing us stress, because we're getting used to being with those level of stress. We're getting used to living our life like that. So there are people that are so tolerant to stress and they are so used to high levels of stress that it's almost impossible for them to enjoy a relaxed, casual day. And this has a negative impact in their lives that they cannot see. So that's why I wanted to bring this topic and share it with you. How does stress affect us? I can tell you some signs for you to identify if it's your case, if you're feeling any of these signs, that you consider that maybe you're being under a lot of stress. On the emotional and psychological level, we can find that we feel a little depressed or we feel unhappy, that we're getting to feel some anxiety, we feel some moodiness, or we feel angry all the time. Maybe we're feeling overwhelmed, we're not feeling satisfied with life, we're feeling that regardless what we do, nothing gets better. We start isolating ourselves from others, or we start feeling lonely. All these are signs that might show you that you are having some sort of stress affecting you emotionally or psychologically. On the same time, on the cognitive level, we can find some lack of concentration, we can have some memory problems, we can have poor judgment, seeing only the negative, feeling anxious, racing thoughts, and constant worrying. These are some of the signs when it comes to the cognitive level. On the physical level, we can find some physical signs that sometimes we are not realizing that is the stress causing it, like aches and pains. So we have the two extremes, aches and pains. We have diarrhea or constipation, sometimes nausea, dizziness, chest pain or fast heartbeat, sometimes the loss of sex drive, sometimes the frequent colds or flu because our immune system is actually suffering, so we start getting sick more often, and we just had a flu and then we have a cold again. So these are signs that maybe on the physical level stress is actually having an impact in your life. And on the behavioral level, let me tell you some of the signs that you can keep an eye on. You can have maybe you find yourself eating more, or you find yourself eating less. Maybe you find yourself sleeping too much, or maybe you find yourself not being able to sleep at all. Maybe you are withdrawing from others. Maybe you are procrastinating some of your responsibilities, or you're putting extra hours in order to do responsibilities, and all you're doing is only those responsibilities, work, work, work. Maybe you're using alcohol or drugs to relax. Or maybe it is that you are developing a nervous habit, like biting your nails, or some itching, or some pacing, or something. These are behavioral signs that maybe stress is catching up. Now, the causes of stress are called stressors, and we need to be able to identify them. And there have been categorized, divided into 4 main categories. And these are general stressors, life stressors, work stressors, and internal stressors. And let me tell you which is which, so you have an idea, because there's many interesting information to share with you at this moment. General stress is related to the fear of the unknown, or those things that are not certain. It is very common to those people that want to control the outcome or the results of situations and things. Not knowing what's going to happen causes that general stress. Now, the life stress is related to life situations that sometimes stresses us, such as maybe a death in the family, or a close friend died, and that, causes some sort of stress in our life. Maybe it has to do with an accident, maybe with health issues, maybe it has to do with a new member to the family that can be stressful. Maybe it has to do with family changes. It can be a divorce, or it can be getting married. Maybe it has to do with relocating your family, moving to another city. That is also another cause of stress. Maybe some physical changes, maybe financial problems, or maybe it can be interpersonal problems. All these can cause stress, and these are the stresses that are called life stressors. Now, the work stress are the ones that are related to our work, and they have to do with a lot of work, or maybe having tense relationship with coworkers or the manager. Maybe it has to do with inappropriate management. Maybe it has to do with changes in the company or the organization that you're working at. Maybe it has to do with changing the position, or maybe changing the functions or the responsibilities that you used to have. Maybe long working hours. All these related to work is what's called the work stress or work stressors. And finally, the internal stress, and listen to this, are the ones that we create ourselves, and they have to do with the way we perceive other people, the way we see things, the way we see life, the way we expect things to be. When we're negative about things, when we have unrealistic expectations about others, when we are wanting to control everything, we create ourselves the stress. So if you're a perfectionist, if you're always trying to do everything perfect, you might be dealing with a lot of stress without even realizing it. So this is a great opportunity for you to think about it. Now, how to reduce the stress? It's very simple, 4 steps. And you might say, Xiomara, that sounds too easy. I cannot do it. Yes, you can. Learn to identify your stress. Admit you are stressed out. Be willing to do something about it, whatever it is, but be willing to do it. And then do something about it. Put the actions together to do it. So, see how simple? Learn to identify your stress, admit it, be willing to do whatever it takes to change that, and do something about it to change it. So, I have some specific recommendations to share with you that might help you cope with stress. Again, identifying the stressors in your life will help you be more in control and knowing how these things affect you. So identify the stressors in your life, what things cause you stress, what things affect you more than others. Make the decision not to worry about the things you cannot change. Just worry about things you can change. You can change your attitude, you can change your behavior, you can change your perspective, you can change your opinion, you can change yourself. You cannot change others. You cannot change situations that involve other people, not only you, but other people. So learn to see the difference. Keep your focus on solving the small problems. That will help you feel more in control by solving the small things that you can solve by yourself. Prepare yourself for those situations that you can do that in advance. For instance, let's imagine that you have a job interview. Prepare yourself good for the job interview. Let's imagine that maybe you're going to go see the doctor. Write down your questions, write down what you've been feeling, the kind of signs that you've seen that make you go to the doctor. So this will help you feel more empowered about the whole situation. Try to keep your physical spaces organized. Your car, your bedroom, your office or working spot. Let me tell you, when everything is disorganized on the outside, it overwhelms our mind. So when you try to keep everything as neat as possible and as organized as possible, it's going to help you clear your mind big time. Talk about it with someone you trust. Maybe a friend, maybe someone from your spiritual group or your religious group, maybe a professional. But talking about it, it's going to help you vent it out. It's going to help you feel better. Avoid excessive planning. It's amazing. Sometimes I deal with people that they have so much on their agenda that they have no time for themselves. You have to be able to have time for yourself. So stop excessive planning. You don't need to plan so much that you don't have any free time. So keep this in mind, because get rid of any unnecessary affair that you might have on your agenda. Work out regularly. This is important. It doesn't matter what kind of exercise you practice, but do something. Eat well. Sleep well. You need to sleep. Sleep is important. So do not underestimate the importance of resting. Participate on any activity that you might enjoy, that it might relax you, that it might make you feel happy. This is important, to have some leisure time. You need it. You need to relax. You need to do something that just simply brings happiness and peace. And nurture your spirituality. That's important too. Finally, I want to remind you that in order to have a balanced life, we need to learn how to cope with stress on a daily basis, and especially with that huge stress that affects you in a more negative way. You need to be able to identify it, and you need to be able to cope with it in order to neutralize their effect. As we learn to cope with stress, we're going to feel much better about ourselves and about the life that we have. Remember that stress is one of the most common reasons for physical and emotional health issues. And remember, you are responsible to put the actions together to be happy. You are responsible to take care of yourself and protect yourself. And dealing with stress is part of your responsibility. Don't underestimate the negative impact of stress. And again, my dear friends, our theme for the month is happiness, and we are responsible, as I said before, for our own happiness, and avoiding and coping with stress is an important aspect, not only for being happy but to maintain our happiness. Again, I want to invite you to join me next week on another session of Emotional Cafe, and I hope you can invite others to benefit from these sessions as well. I'm Xiomara Mayo Ingram, and I hope to see you then.